Hudson Library and Historical Society. I'd also like to say thank you to them, as well as the Friends of the Hudson Library, for welcoming me, Matthew Ball, to perform a little music for you this afternoon. And I specialize in playing American music from the swing dance era and out of the great city of New Orleans. I'm going to kick it off with a chart topper from 1940. This is one that keeps the swing dancers dancing still today. It's called In the Mood from the great Glenn Miller Orchestra. All right, In the Mood. And so let's do for you next, we'll stay in the era of the 20s, 30s, and 40s for most of this program. And here's a little ragtime number that I suppose, to put it diplomatically, is about love at first sight. It's called Ain't She Sweet?
Ain't she sweet, walking down that street? Oh yes, confidentially. Ain't she sweet? Ain't she nice? Just look over once or twice. Oh yes, confidentially. Ain't she nice? Yeah. Just cast your Ain't she sweet? I mean, head to feet. Oh, yes, confidentially. Ain't she sweet? And ain't she fair? I mean, everywhere. Oh, yes, confidentially. Ain't she fair? Ain't she sweet? I mean, head to feet. Oh, yes, confidentially. Ain't she sweet, boy? Ain't she sweet, yeah. Oh, yes. Whoa, no, no, ain't she sweet?
Ain't she sweet? And we're going to do some classic boogie woogie music for you next. Way back in 1938, when the Zoot Suit was still the rage, Carnegie Hall held a special concert performance that was titled From Spirituals to Swing. And among the performers in that fateful concert were people that enjoyed great celebrity thereafter, like Lena Horne and Count Basie, but there were also 3 piano players who played a very avant-garde form of jazz. They called it Boogie Woogie, and after the performances they gave that night, it would sweep into the big bands and wash over the nation as the jazz craze and dance craze for a generation. So this is a little styling of the Boogie Woogie that folks heard for maybe the first time that evening. And it's a little take from the hands of Albert Ammons, something called the Boogie Woogie Man. And there was some Boogie Woogie from 1938 and beyond. All right, let's switch gears here. So the music from New Orleans is another wonderful source of inspiration for me and many others. And one of the lovely things they do there in the New Orleans Dixieland tradition is to jazz and blues up a lot of old spirituals. And this is one of such type. This is a little blues take on Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Yes, all right. Let's do another one out of New Orleans. I'm going to do maybe one more piece of blues music. Here is a tune that is named after a street that had a reputation for being a place where anything goes. And understand there's probably more than one of those streets, but the name of this tune is called the Basin Street Blues. All right. There are a couple of New Orleans classics and a few standards ahead of that. So I'd like to do for you next a little boogie woogie. I'm often asked if I ever write my own music, and I do from time to time. This is a little boogie woogie of my own creation that I'd like to share with you next. And this came about as an improvisation. This is one that I used to play to get my toddler to dance around, and he's now older, of course, but the piece is still around in my fingers. So this is one named after my son. It's called the Owens Boogie Woogie. Alrighty, so let's go back and do another old spiritual. This is one of my favorites. It's called This Little Light of Mine. I'm gonna let it shine. All right.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, yeah. Alright. Out there in the dark, I'm gonna let it shine. Out there in the dark, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, yeah. Alright. This little light of mine.
This little light of mine. All right, let's do something. Switch gears and play a little bit of jazz music, just something a little more quiet. But again, from the great era of songwriting and wonderful musical lyrics, the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s. Here's the tune from the great songwriter Gershwin, and it's called Let's Call the Whole Thing Off. Okay, let's see, what else can we do? So, more from the 20s maybe. Let's see if we can do a little bit of something that I remember hearing actually. An old 20s song that I remember hearing first in a 1970 something film. If you ever saw it, you wouldn't forget it. It was called Jaws. And anyway, there's a moment in the film where the three fishermen who are after the shark, that's the main event of the movie's plot, discover the fish out in the ocean, and they're at the helm of what they think will be a successful hunt. And they're down in the cabin enjoying some drink and camaraderie, and they're singing this song together. It's called "Show Me the Way to Go Home."
Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I just need a rest. I had myself a time a little while ago. It went right to my head. No matter where I roam, land, sea or phone, you're always gonna hear me singing that song. Show me the way to go home. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I just need a rest. I had myself some fun a little while ago. It went right to my head. No matter where I roam, land, sea or phone, you're always gonna hear me singing that song. Show me the way to go home. Show me the way to go home. I'm tired and I just wanna rest. I had myself a time a little while ago. It went right to my head. No matter where I roam, land, sea or phone, you're always gonna hear me singing that song. Come on and show me that way to go home, to go home, to go home.
Show me the way to go home. That's it. All right, let's do a little switching of gears. Here's one maybe outside that swing and swing era. This is one for the Elvis lovers out there. If you ever saw the 1961 film, you heard this song first in it. This is from an Elvis film. It was titled Blue Hawaii, which was not as successful as this melody called I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. All right. I have at least a few more I'd like to do. Let's go back and do a song for you that, well, I've listened to these lyrics and I've come to the conclusion it's about keeping a happy frame of mind on your shoulders. And it's a little tune that also for someone who graduated high school in the late 80s, it was great to see an old 80s rock star, Cyndi Lauper, do a take on this one. And but it is a tune that comes out of that swing era. It's called, I'm forgetting the name. On the Sunny Side of the Street.
Grab your hat, get your coat, leave your worries by that doorstep. Life can be so sweet on that sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter pat? Oh, that happy tune can be your step. Just direct your feet on that sunny side of the street. I used to cry all the time about my sad little life. I know that's all changed. This rover has turned over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. There's gold dust on my feet, all of that sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the rain with my blues on parade, but now I'm unafraid. This rover has turned over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust on my feet on that sunny side of the street. Gold dust on my feet, all that sunny side of the street. Oh, that side of the street.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's see what else we can do. I don't want to leave you without playing this one that's fast and fun from the late 40s. And by the time the late 40s rolled around, everybody was playing some kind of boogie woogie. And there was a gentleman who was part of a big band, and he wanted to create something unique with the boogie woogie sound. So he had this thought to adapt the boogie woogie style to a very famous classical piece known as The Flight of the Bumblebee. And that, of course, was by the classical composer Rimsky-Korsakov. His name was Jack Fina, and he came up with a number he titled The Bumble Boogie. It became such a success record for him that even Walt Disney picked it up and made a cartoon short set to the music. And the piano players loved it because there's only one speed, which is as fast as you can go. And I'm going to try mine for you next. All right, that is the Bumble Boogie, and I think we have time for a couple more songs. Let's go back in the New Orleans tradition. This is a song I got acquainted with from the great Fats Domino, but it comes from an earlier era. It's called Careless Love.
You made me a fool for you. All night, let me be.
Yes, Careless Love. All right, I'm going to try to squeeze in just a couple more. Um, or maybe, here we go, yeah. Let's slow things down. I want to leave you with a little bit of everything and try to cover all the bases. But this is a tune, I suppose, that was popularized by the great Louis Armstrong's rendition of it. It's called What a Wonderful World. What a wonderful world. All right, let's see if we can finish up with another one here. We're just around the corner from Mardi Gras, so let's do a little take that I like to do on When the Saints Go Marching In. And this is a little blues arrangement. It goes something like this.
marching in. I wanna be in that number, yeah, when the saints go marching in.
Yes, and I think that brings us to about the end. I would like to say thank you once again to the Hudson Library and Historical Society and the Friends of the Hudson Library for welcoming me once more to their virtual space. My name is Matthew Ball, and I hope you'll take a moment, if you have it, to visit me on Facebook and online. I am the Boogie Woogie Kid on Facebook and online. And if you've enjoyed this program and concert, maybe also take a moment to share a kind word with the library staff. And thank you to those that made it possible. I hope you can stay safe and be well. It's been my pleasure to be with you. Have a lovely week.